Welcome back to Press Review, and let's start by taking a look at today's front pages in the Middle East. The UAE's Gulf News leads reporting that former Army Chief Abdel Fattah al-Sisi took office as Egypt's second-elect president in 2 years, pledging to create a strong and stable Egypt after 3 years of unrest. The paper also reports that Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid said the phenomenon of brain drain that afflicted developing countries for decades has now remarkably reversed its flow, with the UAE topping a list of countries as a destination for global talent. From Saudi Arabia, the Arab News reports that in a major clampdown on underage drivers, the traffic department has introduced harsher punishments for people found behind the wheel without driving licenses. The paper also reports that Saudi Arabia has reiterated its support for Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi on his inauguration day and hoped his presidency would open a new era of security and stability in the country. From Beirut, the Daily Star reports that Parliament's latest session to elect a president failed, with observers saying lawmakers seem more focused on the fate of Tuesday's legislative session over the salary scale. The paper also reports that Libya's Supreme Court has ruled that the election of Prime Minister Ahmed Matig in a chaotic session in the interim parliament in early May was unconstitutional. The Egypt Independent reports that Cairo Criminal Court has resumed the retrial of ousted President Hosni Mubarak, his sons Ala and Gamal, and former Interior Minister Habib al-Adli, and 6 former top security deputies over killing protesters during January 2011 revolution. The paper also reports that a source has said that President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi ordered the resigned Prime Minister Ibrahim Mehleb to continue working in his new government. And the Jerusalem Post leads reporting that the Knesset Speaker Yuli Edelstein has announced that the next president will be elected on Tuesday as scheduled. The paper also reports that Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has said that rather than moderating Hamas, there are increasing signs that the Palestinian Unity Government Pact is helping the Gaza-based Islamist organization gain strength in the West Bank. And now let's take a look at the top Middle East news from papers here in the UK. The Guardian leads Middle East news reporting that Iranian, US and European Union officials will start 2 days of talks about Tehran's nuclear program today, Iran said, giving it its first word about what appears to be an attempt to rescue faltering wider negotiations on ending a decade-long dispute. The Telegraph leads Middle East news reporting that Pope Francis urged the Israeli and Palestinian presidents to break the spiral of hatred and violence in an unprecedented prayer meeting at the Vatican last night, which he hoped would mark a new journey towards peace in the Middle East. The paper says Shimon Peres and Mahmoud Abbas embraced warmly and shared a joke before the Jewish, Christian and Muslim prayers in the Vatican gardens, where the leaders planted an olive tree. The Independent reports that Qatar will not be able to mount a legal challenge to FIFA if football's governing body strips it of the right to stage the 2022 World Cup. The paper says as controversy continues to rage over allegations of corruption surrounding the bid process, it has emerged that Qatar agreed to sign away its right to take any form of legal action against FIFA when it made its original tender for the tournament in 2010. And now let's take a look at the top stories in international papers. China's Global Times reports that the Israeli ministers have voted in favor of a bill proposal which would restrict the possibility of pardoning convicted terrorists. The paper says the initiative was made by the Jewish Home Party, intending to impede the government's ability to release Palestinian and Israeli Arab prisoners amid diplomatic contacts. And finally, the international New York Times leads its Middle East news reporting that Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, the former general who led the military takeover nearly 1 year ago, was sworn in as Egypt's president on Sunday, testing the bet that a new strongman can overcome the economic dysfunction and political polarization that bedeviled Egypt's 3-year experiment with democracy. And for more updates, please visit Levant.tv. Thanks for watching Press Review. Be sure to join us again tomorrow, and bye for now.